I got involved with From the Cellar because I'd worked with Tito before, and you know, the opportunity came up to do it again, so I jumped at it.
I had this idea in mind for some time about doing something involving a cellar, a dark place, a mysterious place where something really strange happens. I thought about doing something for the Virgin Media short film competition. The idea developed quite quickly.
We had gotten together to talk about what we were up to, and the idea of entering the Virgin Media shorts came up, and I said that I'd love to be involved if he had an idea, and a few emails later and we were shooting, more or less.
There were different possibilities for the story to go, or different endings. I discussed it with the script editors, and in the end we stuck with that idea because it was quite interesting and unusual.
I really enjoyed the script, and it also touched on some of the same fish themes, which I thought was quite a funny kind of thread through his work so far that we've done together.
I know it sounds sort of very naff, but it spoke to me. It was, it grabbed me somehow.
It was a nice, tight idea, good for this kind of a length project. Short, to the point, and also achievable, so it seemed like a good mix of qualities.
Looking for diving equipment is quite difficult to find anyone who is willing to lend it to you. We're just running out of time. In the end, we found a diving store, and they had pretty much everything. The spear gun doesn't work. It's an old one. It's broken, but who cared? It was good enough. We did find a few restaurants and one cellar, but some of the logistics were quite complicated. So in the end, we decided to do it at the Botanist in Kew. We had both a cellar, and it was a restaurant, a pub, gastropub, and one of the areas looked pretty much the way we wanted it. Also the cellar, the door, the stairs, everything looked perfect.
Right now, shooting with video-capable digital SLRs is very popular, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to try to experiment with that and showcase the strengths of it, because the project didn't have a lot of the pitfalls that those cameras tend to come up against. We wanted to do something that was, on the one hand, kind of believable, that looked polished, but also had a slightly surreal edge to it. There was something that was a little bit off balance, so it's fairly naturalistic, but there's a few touches in there that I think hopefully put the viewer a little bit off balance, so that they are ready to accept the kind of very strange premise at the center of the thing.
We auditioned a number of actors for both the roles of Igor, the lead character, and the customer. Most of the actors we actually auditioned for both roles. We're not quite sure exactly, how both Igor and the customer needed to be portrayed.
Next thing I know, I was in a pub. Well, not in a pub. No, before that even happened, I was actually in a shop trying on wetsuits, snorkels and masks and all that stuff, and then we were filming. Igor, gosh, deep down a good man, just wants to get on with his job.
He performs this task over and over again. He's quite tired of doing it, and that's the interesting thing about the story.
I don't think he was looked after, or I don't think anyone realised quite the sort of work that he put in. And even when you see the chef chopping away there, when they have that eye contact, that little moment together, you sort of think there's a lot of animosity there.
One of the shots that was a bit more challenging than the rest was as Igor, the waiter, makes his decision to come back to the table. He's meant to be lit with slight reflections of water, reminiscent of the shots of the cellar. So in order to achieve that, we had to have this dish of water and a light shining into it right close to camera, sort of giving that effect quite subtly on his face. I don't know if it plays in the uploaded version, but it's certainly there at full res.
cellar was a nightmare. I thought I was going to die down there because, as you saw, I had these great big flippers on, and they were just very tiny stairs, very steep stairs, and I had to somehow get my feet onto the stairs so that I could climb up the stairs with these great big sort of plastic wedges going round on the front, with the aqualung on my back, the marsh, the snorkel. Crew, poor guy, had to actually stand behind me pushing on the aqualung so I didn't fall over down the stairs as I was trying to get through the door.
The biggest obstacle was getting steam to come out of the iron, really. That was about as difficult as life got for us.